It's rare that the addition of a new building on a homestead or a farm should raise the level of talk in the neighborhood to anything more than a passing interest. But between the years of 1863 and 1871, the building of a pig pen caused a stir worthy of inclusion in the history books and the newspapers. The topic of interest was Colonel John Putnam Perley's new pig enclosure. As a grandson of Squire Enoch Perley and son of General John Perley, Put, as his family called him, had inherited a fine farm in South Bridgton, Maine. Each generation worked to improve the patrimony, and in Colonel Perley's reign, the farm was well respected as a model and prosperous farm. So why was his addition of a new pig pen such a matter of interest? We find the following mention of the pig pen written in the Bridgton Reporter in the May 15, 1863 edition. South Bridgton is really a very nice little village, flanked as it is on all sides by fine farms, where sloping lawns, cultivated fields, and green pastures stretch off to the thick woodlands, whose gigantic trees have a golden promise for the speculator. There are farmers at South Bridgton who make the business pay, as many say, because they have the means. But the sight of such thriving New England plantations makes us wish there were more who had the means to make farming profitable. Mr. Perley, who was one of the model farmers, is now engaging extensively in raising swine. We have not learned the dimensions of the new pig pen that he has been building recently, but in passing we compared it in our mind to the Cumberland Mills and feel quite confident that by actual measurement it's more than half as large. The upper stories are to contain the grain and vegetables intended as food for the animals, and the building is also furnished with a convenient apparatus for cooking the food. One great source of gain to the farmers of the West is the growing of swine, which they carry on in no very systematic manner, to be sure, but we see no reason why the same may not be turned to account here. Now, when the new church was built in South Bridgton in 1870, the women of the neighborhood formed a ladies' circle guild to raise funds to furnish the church. It was reportedly the first fair of its kind in the local area. Mrs. Perley offered up the as yet unpopulated pig pen as a location for the fair. The story of the fair was captured in the Bridgton history book by Annette Farnham Barnard, who was both a Perley family member and a fair organizer. And she reported the following. The Ladies' Circle held a fair in the newly finished three-story building on the Perley farm, which the family called the Pig Palace, and others the Hog House, as the first floor was to be used for just that purpose. This was the first sale of its kind to be held in town and was a huge success. There was a supper, rolls and butter, coffee, and a piece of cake at 5 cents each, within reach of all comers. Strawberries and sugar and heavy cream were sold separately. Charles Gibbs bought 9 dishes. There was a witch's cauldron where grabs were fished out by the children, 3 oracles who told fortunes, a fancy handiwork table, a stage with a patchwork curtain where scenes of the past were shown in tableaus. One was the large Peabody sleigh with 3 seats full of children and parents sitting straight and stern. Another Perley family descendant, Elizabeth Sargent, used family stories and letters to write Short as Any Dream, a slightly fictionalized story of her family. Here again, the Pig Palace makes an appearance. A visiting relative asks about the new building. "What's that new building Uncle has built next to the ox barn?" she inquired briskly as her cousins escorted her up the flagged walk. "A palace for the pigs," laughed Nan, with a half-fearful glance at Aunt Clara, who regarded her severely over her sallow cheeks. Nan was pretty and round and pink and fair, a girl made to be coddled and petted. But Aunt Clara did not believe in petting. And again, in Short as Any Dream, more talk of the fair and the piggery. Mary was driving back from the fair in the dark with her 2 girls nestled close against her, one on either side. Little girls they felt tonight, soft and hot, their clothes smelling of the exciting, perspiring labors of the long day. The very feel and smell of them comforted her tired bones. Clara Perley had furnished the granary over the piggery as yet uninhabited by porks, but she, Mary, had provided the spirit, the grace, the movement, the imagination, and the execution of the occasion. And then finally, in the 1880 book History of Cumberland County, a book that contains biographies glorifying the leading men of each town in Cumberland County, a line drawing of the Perley family appears. It's a fascinating look at the farm as it was in 1880. To the left, on the near side of the road, is the third house built by Enoch Perley. Across the street is the imposing mansion built by Enoch's son, General John Perley. In the center of the picture is Enoch Perley's first cabin, built in 1776. To the right of the mansion are 3 barns and one very elegant dormered 3-story building. This is most likely the Pig Palace. The picture tells us just why the neighbors felt it was worthy of some talk. Sadly, the Pig Palace is no more. Gone too are the old barns and the Perley mansion. But that neat model farm still continues as the home of yet another multi-generational family, and it continues to produce fine apples. Enoch Perley's third house still exists, a beloved home, and his first little cabin is being lovingly cared for by a new family on a little bit of land on Highland Lake. But once there was a Pig Palace and a Ladies' Circle Fair, both so grand they were the talk of the town for generations. They still are. I'll see you again somewhere in time.